This series is proudly brought to you by Uniting Age Well, supporting seniors to remain healthy, active and connected. For care and support tailored just for you, contact Uniting Age Well today. This program is suitable for most people, however it should not replace a supervised exercise program. Please consult your local doctor before commencing an exercise program, especially if you have one or more of the following: have had joint surgery, any medical condition affecting your heart, lungs or blood pressure, joint inflammation, you have not been doing regular exercise. Stop exercising immediately if you experience one or more of the following: chest pain, shortness of breath, nausea, dizziness, numbness or tingling in the arms or legs, severe pain or discomfort in your joints. The producers and distributors disclaim any liability or loss, personal or otherwise, resulting from procedures in this program.
Welcome to Move It or Lose It. My name is Stephanie. Today we'll be doing a yoga sequence, and the sequence we're doing today is called Re-energizing yoga. Now, if you're new to yoga or it's not something that you practice on a regular basis, it's important that you always listen to your body before following any instructions that I give you. If you've been advised by your healthcare professionals not to do any particular types of movements, you should always listen to their advice before following any instructions that I give you. In yoga, we always want to be moving within our range of movement that's comfortable. So yes, we want to feel like we're working and we want to feel the muscles stretching, but we certainly don't want to be feeling any kind of pain. You may have heard the saying, no pain, no gain. That's definitely not the case in yoga. We always want to listen to our bodies, listen to how you're feeling on any given day and how that might be different from the day before or the day after in your practice. If you feel like you can't hold a pose or you need to rest at any time, always come out of the pose in the same way that you went into the pose. And as I've said before, always listen to your body first of all. The first pose we'll be doing today is a set of shoulder rolls. So we'll move together with the shoulder rolls, breathing in, the shoulders come forward and up. And as you breathe out, the shoulders go backwards and down. Breathing in. As you breathe out, really bring the shoulder blades together over the spine and lower towards the floor. Go at your own pace. Make sure you're breathing as you're moving. So a great way to know whether you're doing this correctly is by imagining that you've got a pencil on the end of your shoulder and we're trying to draw perfect circles with that shoulder. So breathing in, they come forward and up. Breathing out, backwards and down. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep going with those. The great thing about shoulder rolls is that you can do as many of them as feel good. You can fit them into anywhere in your day that works well for you, and it really helps to alleviate some of the tension that we all tend to carry in our shoulders. We'll do one more here, breathing in and breathing out. Relax there, shake your shoulders just a little. The next pose we'll be doing is a forward bend. It can be really helpful to use a chair to help you in this pose. We'll show you what that looks like. So for our forward bend, we'll turn to the side. We'll bring our feet hip distance apart. If you want this pose to be a little bit more challenging and you feel very comfortable in the balance that you have on your feet, you can bring the feet closer together. but it's perfectly fine to have them hip distance apart, and I'd certainly start there to begin with and see how you feel. So let's bring our hands to our hips. Really press your feet into the floor before you move. Feel like your weight is balanced across the front and back sides of your foot. Breathe in, lift the chest. Breathe out, start to bend forwards. Keep your back as straight as you can. We're lowering with the chest towards the floor. Now you can rest your hands on your chair if you're using a chair, or on your block if you're using a block. Think about your spine being nice and long, nice and straight. You can tuck your chin now towards your neck, and always keep just a slight bend in your knees. If you can reach all the way down to the floor, that's fantastic, but definitely stay wherever you're most comfortable. Long spine as you breathe. And now we'll let the body fold forwards a little bit more. So just hang your head, let yourself fold, relax your neck, and take a few breaths there. It's likely that you'll feel this through the back of the legs, through the spine as well, and also through the neck. It's really great to shake your neck out here. Really let gravity pull the head down just a little so that you can get some length through the back of the neck too. Now we'll lift up just slightly so the back's nice and straight again. Think about lots of length through the spine. And then we'll roll forwards, hang again just for a moment. Dropping the head. Okay, now as you breathe out next time, we'll roll ourselves all the way back up to a standing position. So just take your time, go nice and slow, nice and steady. Come all the way back up. Roll the shoulders and take a breath there. The next pose we're doing is called downward facing dog. You can also use a chair to help you with this pose if you feel like you don't have as much mobility through the spine. So for downward facing dog, we'll come to our hands and knees on the floor unless you're using a chair, and I'll show you what to do there. So begin with your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Begin with your knees directly underneath your hips. Tuck your toes under, and then take your hands one hand span further down away from the body. Now remember, you can rest out of this pose at any time by bringing your knees back to the floor. So as you breathe in now, we'll lift the hips and we'll press them backwards away from the body, pressing the heels towards the floor. Now you can keep a lot of bend in your knees, that's perfectly fine. Place the hands, spread the weight, and just breathe, stretching there. If you're using the chair, we would come into a forward bend. So start with your hands on your hips. Breathe in, long chest. Breathe out, bend forwards. Bring your hands down onto the chair. And then bring your elbows down onto the chair. And we're lengthening through the spine in the same way. So we're looking at getting that stretch through the spine, keeping the knees a little bit bent so that the spine can have a nice long stretch as well. We'll come out of this pose by bringing the knees to the floor and taking a breath there. And we'll go into the pose one more time. So breathing in, press your hips backwards, press the heels down, let the body really stretch. So we're very much focusing on the length through the spine here, pressing your hips away from the rest of your body. Make sure your weight feels even on your hands and on your feet. We don't want to feel like all the weight's on the hands or all the weight is on the feet. Nice long breaths. Remember, rest if you need to. If you're still with us, we'll take 2 more breaths here. Really lengthening. And we'll bring the knees back down to the floor. And we'll just sit back on the heels for a moment. So we'll come back up to a seated position now. And we'll bring our fingertips either side of the body, roll backwards, and come all the way back up to a standing pose. We'll just take a break for a moment there, and I'll see you back on the mat in just a few moments.
Continue doing what you love with the help of Uniting Agewell. With 5 Agewell centres across Melbourne, our highly experienced health and exercise professionals design tailored wellbeing programs for older people using state-of-the-art exercise equipment and technology. Receive assistance with physiotherapy, occupational therapy, podiatry and exercise therapy, including yoga, tai chi, Pilates and stretch classes. Start your journey to wellness today. Contact Uniting Agewell to find out how.
Welcome back to our re-energizing yoga. We're going to move into a pose called child's pose now. You can use blocks under your forehead as the example here, if that makes things easier for you. So turn to the side. We'll come down to the floor on our hands and our knees to begin with. So flatten your feet so they're out behind you. You can have a fair amount of space between the knees here. Wider is definitely better than too close apart. Sit the hips all the way back on your heels and walk the hands out. You want to rest your forehead on the floor or on a block, depending on what works best for you. It's okay to make a few adjustments so that it feels restful. The spine should be feeling nice and long. The hips are opening. Try to let your body feel soft, even though we are stretching. There is also the option here to bring your hands behind you to your heels with your palms face up. If that's more comfortable for you, you're welcome to do that or stay with whatever works best. Long breaths, lengthen through the spine. Press the tailbone towards the wall behind you just a little. If you do have your hands out behind you, bring them back around to the front. Lengthen through the arms just for one more breath. And then we'll start to lift the head, press up through the hands and walk your hands back towards your body. Sitting on your heels. Just for a moment. We'll come back up to a standing position. So bring your fingertips to the floor, tuck your toes under and roll yourselves all the way back up. For the next pose, we'll be lying down on our mats. Bring yourself comfortably to your mat, however that looks for you. And we'll lie all the way down. For this pose, it's a really great idea to have a strap or a belt with you. Just put that somewhere close by so that you can reach it easily once we're lying down. Lying all the way down now. The knees can be bent, the feet will be flat on the floor. So we'll grab our straps or our belts and we'll bring the knees in towards the chest. Your strap is going to go over the ball of your foot. And we're going to straighten our legs. Now you can have your feet together or you can have them slightly further apart if that works better for you. We want to try to have the legs as straight as possible without pressing backwards too much. So we still want to be comfortable always. It may be the case that your legs are quite far away from the body. That's perfectly fine. In an ideal world, the heels are coming over the hips. Always work to the level that you're at. Now take a moment to feel like your shoulder blades are flat on the mat underneath you. Also your lower back and your hips should feel like they're level and balanced and just pressing into your mat a fraction. This pose is called reclined staff pose. It's a really great way to stretch through the back side of the body. And it's very energizing. The body's resting, but still stretching. Press the heels away from the body, just a fraction, and the toes towards the body. Keep your breathing smooth. If you feel like it's too much of a stretch through the back of your legs, just bend your legs a little bit more. That's always fine to do that. Listen to your bodies first. Enjoy the stretch. Another great variation of this pose is to do this using a wall. So you can lift your legs and rest them on a wall and let your whole body feel really soft and really steady there. Remember, come out of the pose always if you feel the need to. As we've said before, always listen to your body first. So we'll bend the knees now towards the chest and we'll drop the feet back down to the floor, stretching all the way out. You can take your straps or your belts off to the side now. Take a moment there just to relax. Take a couple of breaths in and out. Okay, let's lift your knees and place the feet flat on the floor. Now, bring your heels as close to your hips as you can comfortably. Doesn't mean they need to be very close, just means they need to be comfortable. The next pose we're doing is called two-legged table pose. We're just going to take a break for a few moments, so you can stay here or feel free to move around until we come back. Welcome back to this episode of Re-energizing Yoga. We'll lie down to begin our next pose. So the hands will be face down either side of your body with your elbows tucked in towards the sides of your body. Bring your feet as close to your hips as you can while still being comfortable. Your feet should be nice and flat, along with your hands nice and flat. This pose is called two-leg table pose. So as we breathe in, we're going to press the feet down, press the hands and forearms down, and lift the hips up towards the sky, becoming a nice straight line with the body. As you breathe out, we're just going to roll slowly all the way back down to the floor and let your hips rest. And we'll do the same thing again. So lift your hips up towards the sky in a straight line, nice and long, pressing the knees away from the body, and then lowering back down to the floor. Take your time, move slowly. As you breathe in, we'll come up with the hips again, lengthening through the front of the legs. And as you breathe out next time, let's bring the hips back down to the floor. We'll lift up again as you breathe in, press the feet down, lifting with the hips, and then lowering. One more time, lifting with the hips, press the feet down, press the elbows, forearms, backs of the arms down, and breathing out, lowering. Bring your knees into the chest and grab your knees with your hand and just rock side to side for 2 moments there. And we'll rest in the middle. Now we're going to do a reclined twist. So for some of us, the best way to do this is to place your feet on the floor, and we'll drop down towards the right hand side first of all. So as you breathe out, let your knees drop towards the floor. Another variation of this pose is to have the feet and knees parallel to each other, and breathe out and drop all the way down. You can move your hands if they're in your way to wherever is comfortable. Turn your head to face the opposite way from your knees. And just take a few breaths here. Don't worry about breathing too deeply. Just allow your body to relax into the floor. And we'll get ready to come back to the center, all the way back. And drop your feet down. Okay, now we're going to do a reclined twist. So take your hands out to the sides, place your palms facing downwards. Now you can either do this pose the same as I am, where we'll move from here, or if you feel like you have slightly less mobility, you can bring your feet to the floor and start from this position. So let's get ready to move. As you breathe out, take your knees to the right hand side and let them drop all the way to the floor. Turn your head to face the opposite direction to your knees and think about the shoulder you're looking towards now, just very gently pressing towards the floor. Take a few easy, smooth breaths here. Just whatever feels natural. Let yourselves feel heavy. And we'll bring our heads back to center. And we'll bring then the knees back to center. We'll get ready to drop towards the other side. So as you breathe out, dropping down and turning your head towards the opposite direction again. Just natural breathing here, however that feels good for you. Again, the shoulder you're looking towards, just very gently pressing towards the mat underneath you. And we'll bring the head back to the center, and we'll follow that with the knees coming back to the center as well. Now we'll drop the knees down. We'll stretch all the way out with your legs extending. Bring your hands into the sides of the body. Turn the palms to face upwards. Now adjust your shoulders if you need to. Adjust your hips if you need to. Let yourselves feel very comfortable here. Let your feet drop out to the sides. Let the palms of your hands face upwards. Arms can come out to the side of the body as well. This is your resting pose, so make sure you feel comfortable. You can let your eyes close if that feels natural to you. We'll take a few moments here to listen to our breath, to let our bodies really feel heavy, really sink into the mat underneath you. Let all of the muscles relax. Let any tension go. Check in with the body and see if you can feel any tension. And really allow that to release. Just a few moments of stillness can make a huge difference for the rest of your day. So really let yourselves be still. Lengthening your breath. And relaxing completely. Let's begin now just to wiggle your fingers and then your toes. Let yourself start to wake up again now. Take a few long breaths into the chest. And lift your hands, stretch over your head or in any way that feels good. Let yourselves really wake up now. When you feel ready, we'll lift the knees. We'll roll ourselves all the way over to the side, right hand side. And we use the hands to lift ourselves back up to a comfortable seated position. Thank you for joining us for this re-energizing yoga episode. We'll hope to see you in the next one.
This series is proudly brought to you by Uniting Age Well, supporting seniors to remain healthy, active and connected. For care and support tailored just for you, contact Uniting Age Well today.